Guys, thank you very much for joining. And if you're wondering why is this the best live stream ever, Czech immigration live stream ever, that's because of you joining. I'm sure you will have the most wonderful questions today. So again, I'll just move this, sorry. If you have any questions regarding anything, like all the visa types, residence permits in the Czech Republic, or accommodation, finding a flat, starting up your own business, or getting health insurance, whatever, bring in your family members, getting a business visa, getting an employee card, anything, just ask in the chat and I'll be happy to answer that. I can see that there is already one question, so I'll start with that, and people join in will be able to ask questions and I'll be answering those as well. So, Budhika Sirivardhana. I'm definitely mispronouncing, sorry for that. Can a student doing a 6-month course under the Erasmus exchange program legally work part-time? Honestly, I have no idea. Depends on what type of residence permit you have in the Czech Republic. Because if you come here just because you can come here as a student for up to 1 year without getting a residence permit in the Czech Republic. If you have a student residence permit in some other EU country, you can come to the Czech Republic and study here for up to 1 year without getting a local permit. But if you don't have a local permit, you don't have any rights, basically. So you definitely cannot work. And students can only work if they are preparing themselves for future job in the Czech Republic, which I don't think you would meet the definition if you're an exchange student here. Yeah. But this is a pretty complicated question, so if I'm saying something stupid, that's possible. This is a very specific. I don't think, my personal opinion is that you cannot work. But that's not a legal analysis. Let's put it this way. Ipshit, hi Ipshit, thank you very much for joining. Jeff Santos, dobrý večer. Thank you for joining. Guys, if you have any questions regarding Czech immigration, starting a business, health insurance, finding accommodation, now's your time to ask. I promised in the title of the video or the live stream that this will be the best live stream ever. So ask questions which will support that. Ask the best questions ever, guys, please. Set or say, please, for the visa processing time, is weekend counted part of the processing time? Yes. All the processing times, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, whatever, that is calendar days, so including weekends. But if you've been following my channel for some time, you probably know that it doesn't mean anything for the MOI. If it's 90 days, if the official deadline is 60 days for student visas, it can take 2 years and no one really cares. And there is very little you can do. There are some things you can do if it's been taken too long, and I made a video about that. So if you go back to my channel, to the live streams, you will definitely find a video about what to do, what steps to take if your application has been taken too long. Officially, even weekends are counted, but it doesn't really mean anything. The ministry can take as much time as they want, basically. Meat made from plant. Okay, it's a nice promo of your product. Got a 2-year work permit. What should I do to get embassy appointment? No, not again. Not again. I'm sorry, but this is... Guys, please can you share my videos about this topic, because I explain it every live stream. I've made many videos about that, and you still come here and say, hey, I got a 2-year work permit, how can I get an appointment? Guys, please share this with anyone you know who's gonna make the same mistake as you. Of course, I don't know where are you from, but if you're from one of the typical countries of this scam, so India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, around there, most likely you've been scammed, because having a work permit, which usually means getting an employment contract from a company, doesn't mean that you will ever get a visa, nor the appointment for submitting your application. If you're from one of these countries I listed, there is a quota for how many people can apply for an employee card every year, and the quota is zero people, nulla, nothing, nada. No one can apply for an employee card unless your employer is enrolled into some of the programs, but in that case you would not need to apply for the appointment yourself, but the company would apply for the appointment. So definitely it's not, because they didn't apply for your appointment. So in this case you paid money for an employment contract, but you will never be able to get an appointment because there is a quota of 0. So of course maybe the government changes that and they will increase the quota to 2 million, but I don't see that very likely. So congratulations, you've been scammed, but you can warn others to not make the same mistake, please. Seto say, because a French student is more than 90 days now. Yeah, that happens. That's pretty standard situation. Depends on the nationality where you applied, what were your documents like, when they actually got to the Czech Republic. Because let's say if you apply in India or Australia or the US or some like very far away countries, it can take a couple of weeks before the documents are sent to the Czech Republic from the embassy to the Ministry of the Interior, and before someone starts actually checking the application. So if you apply today, probably the next 3-4 weeks, nothing will be happening at all, because the application will be just like traveling from wherever you applied to the Czech Republic. So they actually start doing something after a month. And after that, it depends on how busy they are and how the application was prepared, if it was prepared well or not. So yeah, the times don't really mean anything. They can, of course, I'm not saying that it's only bad. They sometimes make decisions in time, and we've had very short time approvals as well, like 10 days, for example, for employee cards, business visas, basically any type of visa we applied for. But on the other hand, there are plenty of applications that are delayed by weeks or months, and you can hardly fight the ministry about that. So, Manish Bhatarai, hello, can you tell me about the Czech Republic seasonal visa for 6 months? Another scam, guys. Okay, I don't know how to put it. So yeah, so I'll explain, you'll understand. The seasonal work visa is, in my opinion, the biggest scam there is in the visa system, partially from like the Czech Republic side. I don't think that Czech Republic is scamming anyone on purpose, but it's, in my opinion, is the most useless type of visa you can get. And unfortunately, many scammers use that against you. And how they use it is the way that they tell you, for example, that they give you this or they get you this seasonal work visa, and then you can stay here, you can switch to some other residence permit, but that's not true. Okay, the maximum validity of the seasonal visa is 9 months. If you come here for 6 months, you can potentially extend it for 3 months, but for like 3 more months to reach the total of 9 months. But if you come for 9 months, after 9 months, you need to leave and you need to apply again. You cannot switch to anything else. Actually, you can switch to one residence permit, which is a blue card. And for that, you need to find a job which will pay you at least, let's say, 70,000 crowns a salary. It's 1.5 of the national average. And you must have at least bachelor's degree. So that's not very likely, honestly, to happen. So a lot of people get scammed like this, that someone promises you like the seasonal work visa, then nothing happens, or you come here and you find out that it's everything a bit different than what you were promised. So guys, don't get any work permits from anyone. Don't get any seasonal visa. That's my advice. Of course, if you want to do it, and you'll see. I'll be happy if you let me know, like in 9 months from now, if you already have been here and you managed to get your visa or residence permit, or if you're still waiting for an appointment. So Ipshit, so I have a question. Am I eligible to invite my parents directly invitations to the embassy? If yes, how long my parents can stay? I'm planning for 2025 summer. Well, potentially you can like prepare your own invitation letter, but that's not really strong. So I would definitely, if you want to invite someone, I would definitely do the official invitation letter through the foreign police. and the maximum validity of if you're inviting them for a short term, that's up to 90 days. So yeah, hopefully this answers your question. Jeff Santos, may I ask what's the difference between blue card versus employee card? Good question. Guys, you're already making this live stream the best immigration live stream ever. So thank you very much for that, and keep it going, keep it coming. This is a good question. I actually did a video about that. What's the difference between an employee card and a blue card? So if you go to my wherever, somewhere, you can click on me somewhere, I guess. So if you go to my profile and you just search for employee card versus blue card, you will find a whole video about that. But briefly, employee card is a residence permit that allows you to live in the Czech Republic and work on one specific position for one specific employer. Blue card is technically the same thing. It's a residence permit which allows you to stay in the Czech Republic and work for one specific position for one specific employer. The difference is that the employee card is not limited in any way. So it can be any type of position, any salary level, any education level. There is no kind of limitation in this. Education, did I say that? I don't know. So salary, position, education, no limitations there. For the blue card, you can only apply if your salary is at least 1.5 of Czech national average. So that's let's say around 7,000 gross a month, Czech crowns. And if you have at least bachelor's degree. Then there are plenty of differences, like in terms of like what it brings you, what are the advantages, all that. But for that, refer to the video I mentioned. But the basic difference is employee card is meant for any type of position, any type of salary level, any type of education level. The blue card, only bachelor's and higher, and at least 1.5 of a national average salary. Kadir Bashir, hello my brother. I'm apply work permit. I don't know if that's a question. Engre Umer Chowdhury, hi. Hi, thank you for joining. If you have any question, please ask. Mir, ahoy Mr. Jan, how are you? Can I work as a part-time if I study in preparatory course in Czech Republic? Also, I want to get my health insurance and apartment through your website if I get accepted. I'll start from the back. Of course, we'll be happy to help you with the health insurance. We do work with 6 out of 7 health insurance companies that are on the market currently. So we'll be happy to send you the best available quotes for that. So once you get approved, get in touch, send us your date of birth and for how long you need the insurance, and I'll be happy to send you all the available options. Similar with accommodation, once you come here and once you start looking for a real place to live or a different place to live than the dormitory, for example, let me know. We'll be happy to help you with that as well. As for working, it depends on the preparation course, because there are generally 2 types of studies in the Czech Republic. One is the proper student, let's say proper, which means accredited courses. And the other one is the other studies, other purpose of stay, which is the not a real student thing. So if you have the proper student residence permit or student visa, you can work. If you have the other purpose of stay, in most cases, you cannot work. It's a bit more complicated. So there are variants where you're a student and you cannot work, and you are other and you can work, but that's very like specific cases. So generally, if you're the proper student, you can work. If you're not the proper student, you cannot work. So for the preparation course, it depends if the course is accredited or not. If it's accredited and you get the actual student visa or student residence permit, then you can potentially work. If it's not accredited, then you cannot work. Probably like this, a simple answer. Hi dude, I want little help. Okay, go ahead. That's what the live stream is about. So ask your question. I will be happy to answer that. Set Osei, the processing time in Ghana is taking long for a student visa. Some went in November and still nothing. Well, it's not much about where you apply. It's, as I mentioned, if you apply in Ghana or if you apply in the US or if you apply in Australia, India, there will be some delay, like 3-4 weeks, sometimes less, sometimes more, but let's say 3 to 4 weeks before someone actually starts checking your application. Because the thing is that embassies don't make decisions about long-term visas or long-term residence permits. So you have to go to a Czech embassy to submit your application, but then the embassy takes your documents and physically mails them to the Czech Ministry of the Interior, and the decision is made there. So it doesn't matter, the embassy doesn't have any say in that. Of course, if you looked suspicious, they could make some note and send it to the ministry as well, but they don't make any decisions. So it's not about the actual embassy, but it can be more about your nationality. Because the ministry sees all the data from all the applications. So they see, for example, how many fake applications there are, how many, from which countries people fake documents the most, what kind of documents, all that. And they take all this into consideration when approving applications from certain countries. So I would say it's more about that, but it also depends on the school you choose. Some schools are considered better and more, let's say better, like more trustworthy. Some schools are not really considered that well, and the ministry sees them as helping, like kind of go around the system. So it depends on a couple factors. Kadir Bashir, I'm start work permit process from Ethiopia. Brother, help me. How much total payment to travel to Czech Republic, my brother? Okay, as I don't know about the quotas in Ethiopia, but most likely, from what I can say, choose a different country to move to. Okay, chances are that you will only get scammed and never get here if you go for a work permit. So I would definitely choose a different country, maybe Poland or some other countries where they have more like open visa policy. Because in most embassies in Africa, in many embassies in Asia, some embassies in Europe as well, there are quotas for how many people can apply for an employee card a year. And usually the quotas are very low, and if your employer is not part of some of the program, you will never get an appointment because the quota is 0 or close to 0. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know from top of my head all the quotas, because there are plenty of embassies and different quotas and they change, so I don't even try to remember. But I would say that in Ethiopia or wherever you have to apply, then there is a quota. And if there is a quota, your chances of getting an employee card approved are very, very low. So I would probably not even bother with that. Thank you, Jan. You are so nice and kind. Thank you very much. I'm so handsome as well. You forgot that. Maxim Šinágl, čau, ahoj. Díky moc, že ses připojil. Pokud máš nějakou otázku, tak se zeptej. Ani, can I apply visitor visa 90 days with India merit certificate, or I need a Czech merit certificate from Czech government? She is Czech citizen, I'm Indian, just got merit. So first of all, congratulations. Depends on what's your like long-term goal. If you just want to visit, doesn't matter. If you want to move here to live with your wife, it's wife, right? She is Czech citizen, yeah, so wife. So I would approach it differently if you were to move here than if you are just coming here to visit. But in either case, the Indian merit certificate is okay. You will just need to get it apostilled and then officially translate it into Czech if you want to use it for any official visa purposes. But other than that, Indian merit certificate is fine. RL Hayan Gerald here, just saying thank you for helping me and the family to be together here in Prague. Happy to help. I think I still have like an unanswered email for you, so I will do it when I finish the live stream. I will get back to your email today, but I'm happy it worked out and that you can all be reunited. Anna Garlíková, ahoj, ano. Děkuju moc, že ses připojila. Pokud máš nějakou otázku o české imigraci nebo ubytování zdravotním pojištění, tak se ptej. Mir, it's a master's preparatory course and the administrator says that it will count towards my master degree. If I pass, I will carry on with my master's degree. Thank you for your help. My pleasure. I believe it doesn't change anything on what I said about this topic before. Gashpal Singh, hello sir. Hi Gashpal, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Sons of Nature. I changed my residence before 2 months. Now I'm going to inform my current address to the ministry. Is there any problem? You mean like you changed the place where you live like 2 months ago and now you're gonna do it again? There is no problem with that unless you keep doing it every 2 months. But the thing is that you only have to report the change if you plan on staying in the new accommodation for longer than 6 months. So if you know that you will be moving every 2 months, you don't really have to report it. On the other hand, it can create some problems for you down the road because the ministry, if they need to contact you, if they want to send you any letter, especially if you have some application in process, they will send letters to the address they have in the system. So if they have one address there, but you've meanwhile moved to 4 other places, you might miss an important mail from them and your residence permit application can be denied or cancelled. So it's mainly important from this perspective to have like a recent updated address with the ministry so they can reach you in case they need something important. But as for reporting the address, you have to do it if you plan on staying in the new address for more than 6 months. Dhaval Parmar, I withdraw my funds during the file process. It was then credited to the account and I got a rejection for it, so I can appeal for it. Very hardly. You can try, if you appeal, you can at least show that you don't agree with the decision, but I don't think it will change anything because this is a common thing that people do and that's a very common reason to deny your visa. You didn't have the money, you borrowed it, you deposited your account. As soon as you got the bank statement, you like send it back to the person who lent you the money, and that's basically faking the document because you have to prove that you have enough money. You borrowed the money from someone, so it wasn't your money, so you're not meeting the basic requirement of the ministry. So there is nothing really to appeal. The only thing to deal with this is to keep the money there during the whole approval process so there are no doubts about the money. So, Carlo, hi Jan, good day. My application for Živno visa has been rejected as per in the FRS system. How can I appeal or know the reason for the rejection? Well, depends on where you applied. If it was visa application, then you applied through some embassy and then the embassy will let you know the denial reason. They will deliver you the denial letter, but only when the ministry delivers it to them. Okay, because as I mentioned before, the embassies do not make decisions. So the Ministry of the Interior makes decisions and then they inform the embassy about the decision and the embassy contacts you and informs you. So you need to wait for that because only then you will see what was the real reason for the denial, or what was the reason for the denial. It doesn't have to be a real reason, but what was the reason? And then you can decide if you want to appeal it or not and apply again or not apply at all. Because that's completely different. Like the Živno visa, the business visa, is generally the most complicated one to get approved, and especially from some countries. This kind of, sometimes we have inquiries where people say, hey, I will be applying for my business visa. I just need your help to get me the trade license, or I would just like to do a consultation, because they think they can do it on their own. And that might be true if you're an American English teacher, then you might be able to do it on your own. But if you're any other nationality and any other business plan than teaching English, it's the most complicated type of visa you can apply for. So with plenty of different rules and things you need to keep in mind. So yeah. Ipshit. Poland is worst country ever. Lifetime I had a nice experience since 2017. I'm still viewing your live stream. Okay, yeah, it's been a long time Together, Ipshit. And we met in person as well, right? Somewhere randomly. Rekha Vengurlekar. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing, which I am definitely. Hi, sir. I'm Bhagyesh from India. Common problem. I have DHL, Czech Republic company job offer letter, work permit, and accommodation letter as well, but slots for visa stamping is not enough. Well, you've either been scammed and you are not gonna work for DHL at all, or something is weird, because I think DHL is a pretty big employer to be enrolled in one of the programs. So I think that if you are to work for DHL, you will get an appointment. Of course, it might take months, because even if you're in the program as an employer, that doesn't mean that you will get the appointment soon. You are just in the waiting list. So it means that you are in the waiting list. So that means that you will get an appointment, but the appointment can still be like 1.5 years in the future. So either you just need to wait and you will get an appointment if the company enrolled you into the program. But if they told you that you need to keep trying yourself, that's not right. Meat made from plant. What should I do to include a 2-year work permit I got as an Indian and any program economic migration? You cannot do it. You cannot do it yourself. It must be done by the employer, and the employer must meet some conditions, like at least 6 employees, at least 2 years on the market, and it only applies to some positions and some employers. So you cannot get enrolled. Your employer would have to do that. Yeah. Lorraine CA, hello. To go to request the temporary residence permit, should I have a tourist visa or another type of visa, and can I start the process if my passport expiration is in July this year? There is a lot to cover, but Lorraine, it depends on where are you from. If you let me know in the comments where are you from, I'll be happy to answer that, because this very much depends on your nationality. I can answer it generally if you wish, or if you don't let me know about your nationality, I will answer it generally, but if you let me know your nationality, I'll be able to tell you more. Ani, ahoy. Nazdar, nazdar, ciao. Second question, do you assist for getting Czech marriage certificate to get approved Indian marriage certificate by Czech MOI? If yes, therefrom can I get a quote? We don't really help with this specific situation. We can help in a way that we like accompany you there. Like we have some like services which are standardized, let's say, like a student visa or business visa or employee card application or invitation letter, house search. All these we have like a standardized offer, because that's the most common types of services we offer, or most requested types of services. So we have a fixed price for that, all that. For things like this, we have a service which is called like accompaniment to authorities, or fighting for you with authorities. So that means that whatever you need to do, if we don't have any standard pricing for that, we like charge you this, like it's an hourly fee, and we go with you to the authority and we fight for you whatever needs to be done. But honestly, this needs to be done only in one place in Brno, and I don't think we'll go there, or we can go there and help with that, but that will cost you quite some money, because it's like three hours one way to Brno, so we would need to charge you for 6 hours of traveling, plus whatever it takes to like deal with the actual application there. So let's say another 2-3 hours, so that would be like 10 hours of work. So I don't think it honestly makes sense, but if your wife is Czech, she should be able to do it. We can maybe do some consultation about that, but she should be able to do it, but it must be only done in one place, in Matrika in Brno. Ipshit, yes, we met in 2021, the time I was in Poland, and Destiny pushed me Czech Republic. Yeah, so hopefully now you're staying for good when you have the permanent residency, so that's good. And yeah, you can also become a Czech citizen at some point. 5 years of permanent. Lorene, I'm from Dominican Republic and we are having problems with the passport now. I need to wait 6-7 months to get a new passport. So I want to know if I can start a process with that passport that will expire on July 30. And I also want to know if I need another type of visa for request the temporary residence permit. Well, okay, so this didn't help much. This didn't help much because I actually don't know if the Dominican Republic has the 90 days visa-free stay or not. So let's put it this way. If you can come to the Czech Republic without the visa for 90 days, so you have the visa-free stay, or people call it tourist visa. It's not a visa, you just like get stamped on the border and the 90 days start counting from then. If this is your case, then it's completely okay to come like this and apply for the temporary residence permit under this 90 days allowance. If you need a short-term visa to come to the Czech Republic, like a tourist visa or a business visa or something to even come here for 1 day, then you would need to get a special type of visa just to visit your EU family member. If you get any other type of visa, you will not be able to apply, or you will be able to apply, but you will be denied later, unless you're married, of course. If you're just dating, then it's like this. If you're married to an EU citizen, then you can come under any type of visa. It can be a tourist visa. It can even be a French tourist visa for that matter. Whatever allows you to stay in the Czech Republic legally, then it allows you to submit the application. But if you are not married, you can only apply either from the 90 days visa-free stay or from that one specific type of visa. It's one thing. As for the passport, technically you can submit the application with passport which expires soon, but there are a couple problems with that. First, well, you have to have a valid passport when you're submitting the application. So as long as you submit the application before the passport expires, you should be fine. On the other hand, you will not be able to get a bridging visa, because for the bridging visa, the passport must be valid for at least 3 more months after the visa expires. So you will not be able to get a bridging visa, you will not be able to travel, you will not even have a valid passport, which can create additional troubles because no one will be able to identify you. Also, if the ministry requests something from you, in this case that would be a new valid passport, they usually give you just some specific amount of time. So for example, you submit application with this passport and the ministry tells you, okay, you have 3 months to deliver a new passport. And if it takes longer, you can get yourself into trouble with the denied application, whatever. Of course, you can request extension of the deadline if it's reasonable, but it will create additional problems and additional stress for you. So technically, yes, you can submit the application with a passport which will be expiring shortly, but it will make, or most likely it will make your life more complicated. MD Valiulach. My student visa decision was rejected. Already I appeal against this decision. How many days decision will be published? Honestly, like the chances of approval of the appeal are very low anyway, so I would not really expect a good outcome after the appeal. Of course, depends if you hired someone to do that, depends on the denial reason. If the problem was on the side of the ministry, that they made a mistake or something, then you have some chances. But if they denied the visa because of some problems in your documents or because of lack of motivation, which is the most common excuse of the ministry or reason, how to put it, then the chances of getting approved after an appeal are very low anyway. So it can take anything from couple weeks to couple months to get the final decision, but I would not really have high hopes for this. Sumit Bose, what is requirement for family reunification long-term residence permit? I think we've been in touch as well, right, Sumit? So I also have an email that I have to reply to you. Generally speaking, application form, passport size photos, proof of accommodation, proof of income. So that would be the person who's already working in the Czech Republic. So that would be employment contract plus the last 3 salary slips. and then criminal check from all the countries where you have lived longer than 6 months in the last 3 years, and that's it, I think. Then once you get approved, you will need to get health insurance for the full validity of the residence permit. But we made an article about it. We wrote an article about it. I also have a video on my channel about exactly this topic, so you can refer to that. But we've been in touch via email, I believe, as well, so I'll answer that too. AR, I got a full-time job and the contract is for indefinite period, but my working hours is 30 hours per week, and it's mentioned that HPPs. Is it possible to convert my visa to work visa with that contract? Yes, that's fine. If it's HPP and 30 hours a week, that's possible. The minimum is 15 hours a week. It cannot be DPP. Ipshit, ciao. Thank you very much for stopping by and being here, and have a lovely evening. So yeah, HPP 30 hours a week can work. Of course, there are other things like you need to have the vacancy number, all that, but yeah, generally speaking, it can work. Saeed Iftekharudin, could you please suggest some places where I can learn the Czech language in Prague? Well, it depends. There are plenty of different schools, so I think if you just Google Czech language classes, it will find you something and you can just choose whatever you prefer. If I should mention one place which I have a good experience with, that would be a company called Czech Courses. For Czech Courses, it's a pretty good name. The same way as like Move to Prague is a good name for people moving to Prague. They have 2 locations, I believe, in Prague. One is in Vinohradska. Is it Vinohradska? Yeah, the one from Museum up where the tram goes. I guess it's Vinohradska. So they have one location there, and I believe they opened a new location somewhere else. And we know the owners, and they're very nice people, so the courses are good. So that would be my personal recommendation, but there are so many that you can just choose. MD Vailach, the reason is that the MOI doesn't believe that my aim to study. Yeah, so that will be very difficult to appeal. Because you probably didn't show enough interest or you didn't know enough about the university or the program or something, that the ministry has doubts that you really want to study here. And honestly speaking, you should complain to the other applicants from your country, because why the ministry makes it more complicated for students is that many students fake their applications, then they come here and immediately leave school, find a job and switch to an employee card or some other residence permit. And if the ministry sees people doing this, they will make it harder for the students to come here at the first place. They might introduce some quotas for students as well. So every time someone is doing something like this, then you completely destroy it for other people as well. And that's why it's now getting more complicated to get student visas in India, for example, because many Indians come here. Either they want to study or they don't want to study from the beginning. But even if they want to study, but then they find a job and immediately switch to an employee card, for example, then the ministry sees that as abusing the system, because it's relatively easy to get a student visa compared to an employee card, which is almost impossible. So they see it as you like fake the student visa application only to be able to come to the Czech Republic and start working, which you cannot do directly, and they don't like it. So I don't think it will be any easier to get a student visa now. Thanks, Jan. Out of the topic, what is the process of GP registration in Czech Republic? Is it mandatory? Also, does it change each time you change the home address? GP, you mean like a general practitioner, a doctor? You can choose any doctor you want, ideally the doctor that accepts your health insurance. You don't really need to change the doctor. You don't get a GP assigned automatically to you. You just need to find one. If you wish, I will be happy to give you a recommendation. I like the doctor where I go. And they speak English, so I'll be happy to share their details. But you basically choose the doctor which appeals you the most, and which accepts your health insurance ideally, and then you just stay with them. You just need to fill in some form. They usually do some like initial checkup, and that's it. Said, děkuji moc, Jan. Rádo se stalo. Could you please suggest some tax consultants in Prague? I need to submit some tax related documents. Of course, get in touch, fill in, go to any of my videos which has description, because I believe the last one still doesn't have a description. This one obviously it's live, so it doesn't have the description yet either. But if you go to any of my previous videos, there is always a link to a form which you can fill in, and I will be happy to get back to you and share the contact of our accountant, the accountant we work with. He's good. He's really good. We've been together for like 6 years now, 6 seasons, 5 or 6. And we're really happy, and all our clients are happy with his services. So be happy to share the contact details. Woo, guys, 41 minutes of talking. You see, this really was the biggest or the best live stream about Czech immigration ever. So it's still 29 people now watching. So guys, if you have any questions about Czech immigration, visas, starting a business, getting health insurance, finding accommodation, please share the questions in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. Let's say for the next 3.5 minutes. Let's wrap it up at 45 minutes. Ani, I'll send you email regarding getting marriage approval from Matrika Brno. I would like to get online consultation if possible. My wife lives in the same area. Of course, go ahead. We'll be happy to consult. So, guys, last 3 minutes for questions. So if you're typing something, type fast. MD Valiulach, but my question is that how could MY identify that my intention was bad? I think this is a bullshit decision. Can be a bullshit decision in some cases, but in some cases it's not. I will give you an example of what we've seen. Not our clients, because usually our clients don't get denied. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen ever. But not really often, but many people contact us, hey, I've been denied, what should I do? This is my rejection letter, can you make an appeal for me or something? So I've read a lot of rejection letters, and what I've read, for example, was that the person was saying that study this program, this school was their long time or like lifelong dream and goal, and that they are really happy that they got accepted. But then when the officer at the embassy asked them, okay, so what's the address of the school, or what's the website of the school, the people didn't know. And it's kind of weird if this is your like lifelong dream to study this school, that you don't even remember the address, or you don't even remember the website of the school. So that's kind of indicates that it's a bullshit application. And there are many things like that. They might have asked you about the subjects you will be studying, or like, what do you want to do after you finish the program? And yeah, it really depends on what you told them. Sumit Bose, thank you, Ann. We'll be in touch with you over email and in person. Also, we'll be happy to pick up your recommendation on your general practitioner. Okay, so just remind me, because I still need to reply your email. So whenever I reply, just remind me the GP, and I'll be happy to share the details. Nikre, I'm from India. Hi, I'm from India. I have done my bachelor's and master's in commerce. I want to pursue master's. Should I use my master's or bachelor's degree in order to do the registration notification? Well, I guess this is more of a question for the university, what they will want from you. So I would definitely choose the university first, and then ask them what they require. Said, I worked when I was on student visa. Does my years for PR count when I was studying but still paying taxes? No, it doesn't matter if you pay taxes or not. It doesn't matter if you work or not. It depends on the type of visa or residence permit you had. So if you were under the student residence permit, your years count as half. But only counts as half for the PR. If you wanted to switch to a business residence permit, for example, you can do it after 5 years, and that's even 5 years of studies. So it only counts towards the PR as half, not like generally. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. It's 45 minutes, no more questions. So guys, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for making this the best Czech immigration live stream ever. And I will see you again Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world. See you guys. Good night. Bye bye.